One of our methodological contributions that we've been developing at Harvard and at the Aretian team out in Boston has been to, in a systematic manner, model in a three-dimensional way cities and urban environments through the lens of complex systems and network science. Because of that, we've been able to both describe visually and mathematically three main urban systems that have a structural impact on the quality of life of citizens as a whole. City science techniques enable us to perform a certain type of analysis that provide high value-added insights in terms of helping shape successful urban design and economic development strategy. Those insights can be summarized in four value-added areas. The first one is performing highly detailed territorial diagnostics in terms of the strengths, weaknesses, risks, and opportunities of a given urban environment or city. The second is jumping from the current diagnostic or understanding of the composition of that community into the goals or ideals that we would like to attain or achieve in the coming years, whether it's in the short term, the midterm, or the long term. The third component would be envisioning urban design and architectural design and economic development strategies that can help us propel the community and get closer to those ideals. And then the fourth phase is essentially identifying the solution from both a design, a technology, a zoning, and a governance perspective that can, in the grand scheme of things, help us achieve those goals the best way possible. So in that regard, city science techniques can be deployed in a pre-existing setting that has been developed over centuries and it's very mature to perform, if you will, the X-ray of the city, as if we were the doctors of the city, and identify those areas that by means of high-quality intervention can really shape the dynamics in a better way of the community. Out of that, we've been able to identify 10 main urban design patterns that we observe worldwide as a global pattern. We have the small world city network, we have the radial network, we observe monumental cities, garden cities, atomized cities, linear cities, grid or reticular cities, random environments, organic cities, and fractal cities around the world. And each of these different typologies of environments, they tend to have their own aesthetic properties that have a psychological impact in terms of the beauty and the impact that that has on the population. But on top of that, those morphological constraints and characteristics and features, they also tend to have a structural impact on the quality of life of citizens. For example, if we take the city of Madrid, we observe that the ancient medieval city, the area around Palacio de Oriente in Madrid, in central western Madrid, follows a typical organic city pattern. After that, the city grew, originally from incorporating certain monumental components when it was designed the capital of Castile and of the Kingdom of Spain, and the city grew in terms of major avenues, palaces, ministries, churches, and major facilities. Beyond that, after the 18th century regime change with the new dynasty, Madrid grew with a radial or concentric city, and that created a strongly radial structure that has been shaping a fair amount of the central areas of Madrid in recent decades. Beyond that, the 19th century expansion of neighborhoods like, for example, Barrio de Salamanca, the Goya Street area, or Chamberí, among others, they followed a reticular gridish system with an orthogonal urban design pattern around rectangular building blocks. And then more recently, we've been observing, especially after World War II, an expansion of garden city environments like in Las Rozas or Majadahonda, or a number of other districts that follow this low-density, single-family housing urban development pattern. Today, the city of Madrid is a tapestry of multiple urban development patterns, and each of these patterns has its own characteristics, strengths, weaknesses. For a city like Madrid, we can deploy these city science techniques to understand main challenges and problems that these urban settings are facing, and then develop ad hoc local interventions, aligning the urban design with the zoning and with the economic development strategy to create these more attractive urban environments that are satisfying the needs of citizens in the 21st century.